Highlanders Football Club Executive Chairman Peter Dube says the options for BOSSO's survival are getting narrow in the harsh economic environment, and Saturday's meeting with the life members is an engagement to consult and share ideas on measures that can help bail the club out of its predicament. Dube was speaking at the weekly Highlanders press conference, where he emphasized that transferring the club to the ownership of an individual was unimaginable.
We don't have enough to survive on. It won't help our position. That's why we are calling on various stakeholders at the moment to try and get immediate assistance and consult as much as possible. If you've got to survive, and there's only one route to survival, you would follow it. But it would be unimaginable to ever think Highlanders would belong or would be taken over by somebody. Whatever would be done would actually protect the interests of the community, the interests of the club. We also have to look into what a people's team is. There has to be something that sustains the club. That's the most important thing.
Dube said that the club was relying on the finances that they were generating for its sustenance, and maintained that the club debt remained around the same region as was reported during the club's annual general meeting, where BOSSO's financial arrears were in the region of just above $600,000.
It's nothing scary from what you know to have been the situation at the last AGM. We are actually eating what we gather. We've actually tried so much to keep it down, and it's nowhere near what was said over the weekend.
The BOSSO executive chairman scoffed at social media suggestions that Highlanders had been acquired by a Pindura-based businessman. Dube said all that was a conspiracy masterminded to agitate Highlanders supporters in the expectation of that BOSSO would lose their league match against Cape United.
I think it just something that flies in the air, and it has got its own purposes, which I'm not afraid to actually dismiss with the contempt with which I think it must be handled. It's only that person and those who are pushing that story who know about that person. Why do you think that story fizzled out after Sunday's game, which the team won? Did you see more postings?
On the decision to make the meeting exclusive only to life members, Dube pointed out that it had been established in previous meetings that the majority of those that attended belonged to that category, and said the critical financial standing of the club may need the members' direct intervention.
Over 3/4 of people attending those meetings are life members. So we wouldn't want to say entirely all the people at the Highlanders are life members, but I'm saying over the years, maybe because of the economic situation, the numbers went such that it became so attractive for so many people to become life members. So you realize, even if maybe we don't get as many numbers as we did at the meetings, most of the people we'll be talking to are life members. But we still have so much regard for our ordinary members. The idea that's being sold to them, first, is to highlight the position that the club finds itself in, and saying going forward, things really don't look that much good unless steps are taken, drastic steps are taken to try and look at ways in which the club can raise funds from elsewhere. Maybe even looking at their members coming up with those ways or funds to try and sustain probably the day-to-day operations of the club, or whatever levels of assistance they can render to the clubs.
Dube said the Highlanders' plight was made even worse by the prevailing economic climate, which had a direct negative impact on the club's gate takings, despite BOSSO's recent good form that had seen them lead the 16-team Premier League log standings at the season's halfway mark.
If we're talking of people who have been laid off work, if we're talking of people who have not been paid or have not been paid on time, those are the people we rely on to come and pay to watch our matches. So that alone tells you that we cannot be collecting the same revenue even from our gates that we have collected in the past. And as I've said, it's highlighted by the gate takings we are getting when the club is doing reasonably well.